Welcome back to the Crown of Command, and I'm your host Josh, and I'm here with a good friend of mine over in Canada, Timothy. How you going, mate?
Oh, pretty good. How are you doing?
Yeah, mate, not too bad. I've woken up very early in the morning to come on to share your insights into your very first White Dwarf magazine, which is issue 112. And we're
Yep.
graced here with a bit of Wayne England art of a Terminator badge, the
Yeah.
skull and crucifix type things that that
Yep.
adorned a lot of the Space Marines and Terminator armor.
Yeah, I love the pattern. Like the color is really odd, and the lettering, white dwarf looking like metal, uh, and the way the skull is, like it really blends in. I find the fantasy, the jewels there, the treasure hunting, the adventure. I think it encompasses everything that the game is for me, anyways.
Was it the first thing that sort of really caught your eye when you first saw this magazine?
Yeah, well, I was aware of, so this is April 89, right? So I'd already been playing for a few years, but never had any money to buy White Dwarf. So I knew they were out there. They weren't easy to get in Belgium, which is where I grew up. But I would go to England 2 or 3 times a year. So I knew they were out there, never bought them. But here it really, I needed something to read on the boat on the way back to Belgium. And so I figured, okay, maybe I'll get one of these. And when I saw the magazine there, that attracted me. That it makes you want to buy it, but then you have to justify the expense. And there are a couple of articles in there that I was interested in.
I was really quite fascinated with this retail detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. The thing that, well, first, one of the things that struck me is the team at the bottom of the contents page. For me to see that, to see those blokes, because the pictures are so 80s like,
Yeah.
and it really, I think that was one of the things when this whole thing started, is you really felt like it was a team, a group of people rather than a business. And seeing those guys there, they just look like common folk, really. They're just a group of people. They don't look like executives or whatever. And I don't know. It was attractive to me in the sense that this is something that's meant to be fun and relaxed kind of thing. And then you get that retail detail because, of course, at the time, no internet, nothing. So you want to find a store, you've got to look in the phone book. You've got to try and figure out what you're looking for. Are you looking for a model store, for a miniature store? What are you looking for? And then not only that, you have to find it on a map somewhere, drive there and try and figure out where it's in the city. There's no GPS or anything. So this retail detail is a good way for people to know, if you're going around in this area, within an hour's drive of you, you might find this store.
Yeah. Yeah, mate. I really like the this sort of cartography design. I think John Blanche did this, and I think it's really cool. It's something that maybe only featured in one issue or something. I've never seen it before, so it was really
Yeah.
refreshing to see something like that.
Yeah, because even the way they drew the map, right, with their style,
Yeah.
the it's nice. And then of course John Blanche is there if you want to meet him to, he'll be at this store on Saturday,
And
Nottingham.
yeah, they use this Blanchitsu. I thought it was quite a recent term to call John Blanche's art style or miniature painting style or whatever, but they used Blanchitsu back then, so that was also fascinating to see. But as we look into the other page, um,
Yeah,
we can look at the very early development of a couple of games. One is, of course, Space Hulk, which is kind of one of the all-time, it stood against the test of time through various editions and still favored as being one of the greatest board games that Games Workshop ever released, from Richard Halliwell.
yeah.
And I think it's Dungeon Bowl, which is the sort of expansion to, I think, first edition or second edition Blood Bowl at that
Yep.
time.
Yeah. And again, no internet really to speak of. So
Mm.
you're looking at this. This is the way to promote your products. If people don't have a store next to them, this is how you're going to get people interested or coming in. So the news is kind of nice. The other thing, which is goes to counter to what I just said before about a small team, I never even noticed, is flipping back through the pages here. If you look at the bottom of the next page, you're looking at an ad where they're looking for staff for their what is it, factory.
Right, yeah, and I noticed the pictures there too of the old Citadel foundry. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd never even noticed that before. It's just recently when I was flipping through it, I was like, wow, they actually had, a Citadel factory with hundreds of people working there, and looking at all those
Yeah, mate.
shelves with line-up boxes makes you dream.
Yeah, wouldn't you want to go back in the TARDIS now and visit that place? I mean, there'd be just
Yeah,
so much good stuff in there. Be wonderful.
yeah. And again, the pictures of the team in there playing the games and stuff like that being presented, it's it's so reminiscent of what the group was like. In Belgium there
Mm.
were very few players. There were no stores to speak of, but there was this one place, this one guy that was selling Games Workshop stuff. Poppy was his name, and he was a huge guy. Tall, large, long red hair, and he would just as fast laugh with you than he would yell at you if you went into his store and did something he didn't like. But you went to that store and there was everybody in there, from the typical nerd with the scrawny guy with the glasses, that would have been me, to the big hulking guy in his motorbike outfit. And you'd go in there, it'd take you almost an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to the store. You'd get there and you'd spend hours just to buy one blister. And then
Yeah.
that was your adventure for the day.
Yeah, good times they were, mate. Good times they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember those
Yeah, and
days?
there's a lot of stuff in there, that a lot of games that I didn't even play, just because lack of money. You had to pick and choose what you went for. But you skipped over the mail order page. We see some of the games that they played, that they presented at the time there, and then you get the Terminators. Again, really nice drawings, lots of
Mm.
drawings in here, a few pictures, and a lot of the drawings look like concept art. It's like, this is what it should look like. It's almost like, a representation of what's in the person's mind, kind of thing. And I wonder if that had to do with the cost of printing, and printing pictures and colors and things like that. I remember seeing somewhere that in the beginning, it was so difficult to get good pictures printed of the miniatures, that when they did the Citadel catalog, they ended up drawing the miniatures, because black and white
Mm.
pictures just, they can show, they wouldn't show well enough in the printing. So a lot of drawings here, and then of course those Judge Dredd, which I didn't even know what it was at the time, because I wasn't part of the, how would I say, I didn't know much about all the Anglo-Saxon movies and all that stuff. Anything that was American, limited exposure to it. But the boxes for the Terminators there, for the 40K or all that, they all look similar. You see the unit boxes there,
Mm-hmm.
the Librarians, the Terminator Tactical Squads, they all have that same vibe, if you compare it to fantasy, and so it really tied in all those games, and made it one world.
There's some squats
Yeah,
on
yeah,
trikes or bikes. Yeah.
yeah. Reading was pretty much how you got your, there weren't Netflix binging, so reading was
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And so this was the way to find, books, what to read next, I guess.
Mm.
If it was in here, it meant it was the same kind of mindset. Speaking of that, this Dark Sword
Mhm,
ad
mhm.
there, I saw that obviously when I got the magazine in '89, and it struck me, that picture struck me so much, that I saw maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So what, 20 years later, I saw this in a secondhand bookshop,
All right.
and I thought, oh, that's the book from that magazine. And I
Mm.
actually bought the trilogy and read them. It wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be, but it was. it was an okay. I guess after 20 or 25 years of wondering what that book was, it was good. Yeah, it was a good book, good adventure. I enjoyed reading it, but yeah, definitely not worth 25 years of excitement and
Now
waiting.
we've got Warhammer 40K. Now this is a lot about vehicles using half tracks or half tracks and that kind of thing. Me and Timothy not well versed in the Rogue Trader world or the game itself, so we're just going to flick through these pictures
Yes.
and see if we can find some interesting stuff here.
It's got that Mad Max vibe, though. Huh?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. But of course, here we've got some classic Gretchen. Love all these guys. Very hard to find these anywhere on the secondhand market, unfortunately. And now the Orc Noble, they were called nobles in the beginning, and before they were called knobs. In case you didn't know, I only found that out recently when I looked at some of the Epic stuff when they first had Epic, and they had Orc nobles mentioned there as well. So
that was a bit too noble for Orcs, maybe.
Yeah, knobs just sounds so much better. I can't get rid of it now. So yeah, some classic models there. The Orc field gun and the war track with his sort of commander in the back there.
I never even noticed they have those two punch holes on the side of the page there, as if it was like rip it out, punch it, and put it in a binder. Those rules. I don't know. They look like so much fun. The knights there. That's what what grabbed my attention as well. Like the chaos, the steed, of course, and then the one on the bottom, the armor, the pattern on that armor is just interesting. I actually that's one of the reasons I got the magazine is I had all my wood elf horses to paint, and you're looking at what you want to do, and this had an article in it about painting horses, but here's some nice examples there. The Knight Panther and the High Elm Knight, I never really got into doing human armies. They weren't they didn't have that fantasy vibe enough for me. Did you notice in the on the side of the page all the drawings? You have the Fimir, the skeleton.
Right, yes, that's true. Yeah, it's got a troll slayer there and some orc bowmen.
After that, we have a scenario, Vulture Warriors. I was reading through it, and it reads almost, it has that same vibe as the miniatures. I find it has a bit of humor in there. It has, you have the sound effects, the whoop, 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 the daka, 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 zop. It reads like, the same way they sculpted their miniatures. It feels like they sculpted the text almost with that same vibe.
All right, here we go. Nice catalog page here.
Yeah.
Available in the spring.
Not a lot of colors in there, and that catalog page. And every character in there has something going on, like the way he captured the in the faces. You can see obviously the warrior on top. He's looking down. He's got that grim determination, spikes everywhere. He's gonna get them all. And then you have the guy in the back with the bone in his hair is looking at it like, I'm sneaking up on you. I'm gonna get you. And then the orc there, he's got piercings everywhere. The one in the forefront, he's got piercings on his elbows, on his that can't be very good for fighting.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through this. This is more sort of, I think this is to do with the scenario they're running for. Is it Warhammer Roleplay, or is it just 40K Roleplay?
Vulture Warriors, sure. It's a scenario, but I don't even know what it's for. But it's got all the detailed maps and everything. It looks well done, and again in the same style as all the other role-playing games. Seems like you could easily jump from one setting to the other. The pictures on there, I always found it fascinating. If you go back to the previous picture of the Predator there, they always hit the bases. It's like it's a setting.
Yep. They did that back in the day. Yep, got some sand out and sort of hit the bases up.
And it reminds me that's originally why they had the Goblin Green bases, with either the flock or the sand. It's because they wanted the base to disappear when you put it on the table. You had your green flock table, you put your miniatures on there, and It's meant to camouflage the base, basically. But yeah,
Yeah.
nice, really nice pictures, though. A lot of
Very much so.
things going
Yeah.
on.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Or
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
it
Well, there's
featured in there.
first of all, there's that Fist 2, that telephone game thing.
Oh yeah, Steve Jackson
Yeah,
presents Fist 2.
yeah, yeah. And that's amazing. I was looking up a bit at it because, of course, I didn't have, this would have been in England. It was impossible for me to play that from Belgium. But I was trying to figure out how would you even play that. And basically, you needed a a dial phone, with keys rather than that rotary phones that we
Oh, of
used to have.
course. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, and so there was a story, and you'd pick your action. You had to press one for this, two for this, and then it recorded whatever you did, and you could come back and continue playing later. And the company that he used for this was actually a company that was doing astrological forecasting. So people would call for
Oh,
their, whatever. And yeah, Steve Jackson put this together and basically got this company to do this one.
wow.
I don't think it ever took off, but
I've
yeah.
got some
And
Dark
then
Future.
we
Now,
have,
this is what you mentioned to me before we got to do our, your first White Dwarf here. You mentioned about Dark Future, and this is the first issue you saw Dark Future mentioned in, eh?
again, I never played. Lack of people that would have played, because this would have been a game, I think, that would have been low investment. You could easily find toy cars and kit bash them and make roads or whatever.
Mm.
So I think that would have been an easy game and cheap game to get into for people that didn't have the resources to do 40K or whatever. And I love the way it captures, again, a bit of that Mad Max vibe. But
Hmm.
you see those drawings; they capture really moments and really, set the stage for what the game is about. Yeah, Games Day,
Games Day.
Golden
Yep.
Demon
Golden Demon
Awards.
Awards. Yep. This is
Yeah,
1989. So if you did attend this particular Games Day, please let us know in the comments.
yeah.
Um,
What I liked about that was, if you look at the Getting to Games Days, they
mhm.
even organized coaches from the different stores. You
Yeah,
could
that's right.
Yeah, you could take the bus and go to Golden Demon with all the other fans. I was going to say fanatics, but yeah, fans is good enough. Yeah,
This is the
role and
article you
play.
really want to have a look at. Yeah, role play. Yeah.
Yeah, war dances. So here we've been doing a campaign for about probably almost 2 years already, because pretty much when first edition roleplay came out, in the sense that our friend introduced us to Warhammer, but none of us had the money to play Fantasy Battle. So while we were collecting miniatures, we started with roleplay. So I think it came out in '87. So it was probably about 2 years that we'd been playing, or close to.
Hmm.
And I had a wood elf character, and he was quite advanced now. So looking at new careers to explore and have fun with, and this came out, and I did manage to convince the dungeon master or the to let me play this career. It was fun. It was fun, and a lot of text, a lot of the drawings are interesting, a lot of character to it, and yeah, in a few pages they really elaborated on it, on the religion, the training, gave you a good feel for it. Yeah, and then of course Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Blood Bowl, again, never got into it.
Mhm.
Probably not as expensive as games like Fantasy to get into. I imagine you could easily have a small team and just play along. Um, but then again, I wasn't much into sports, so you know, didn't really interest me.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Um, Now we've got Titanicus as well. It's the Conqueror article and Robots and Adeptus Titanicus by Jervis Johnson.
Yeah,
So we've got a lot of that being covered in this issue as well. Again, a game I've not played. I think they're like robots or something like that. These, I think they're Imperial Knights, because it's got like Castellan Knight, Cataphract, Crusader, Colossus. I think these are like the really early Knights models, if I'm reading that correctly. But yeah, looking at this kind of I don't know, this model kit, someone's kit bashed together. So here's your horse painting article.
Yeah. So when I got that magazine, of course, this was a big investment. I mean, I could get a blister for this. I could get miniatures for this price, so the price of this White Dwarf. And so you're looking at, I need something to read. Do I really want to get this? And then you're looking at the articles, what's in there. Well, first of all, there was the war dancer stuff, but there was this painting guide for horses. And so I went into the store at least 2, 3 times, looked at the magazines, tried to go through. And first of all, when you're reading the magazine, you're going to make it look like you're not reading the magazine because you don't know if you're allowed to read it in the store or not, right?
Yeah.
So you got to flip through the pages and pretend you're just flipping through, but at the same time, try and read what it's talking about. And I tried to memorize, the techniques and the pictures. And in the end, it's like, nah, it's only, 2, 3 pages, but I guess I'll take it anyways. And yeah, I ended up painting all my wood elf cavalry, pretty much every pattern that's in here. The tiger style I did for, I think I had one Chaos Warrior or something like that. I did it for something chaotic. Anyways, I didn't have a lot of chaos and evil armies, but enough that I could try myself at this pattern.
Well, Timothy, it's been really, really fun to go through this issue 112 with you, mate. Thank you very much again for joining us. Thanks again, Timothy, and I'll catch you again soon, mate.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Take care, mate. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.